Sure, thanks. I really like the mention of the soft and hard metric because for me, I think there are two types of metrics that we can measure when it comes to the performance of a software engineering team. The first one is the quantitative metrics that we are all familiar with, or the hard metrics, and they are very easy to measure, as in you can obtain these scientifically. But then the second type of metrics that is important to measure, but a lot harder to measure, is the qualitative metrics. So let me start with the quantitative metric, and a lot of you have already mentioned things like cycle time, time to delivery, what's the time to PR, time to deployment, like different stages, and also the velocity, how many story points are being completed in a sprint, whether there's like a stability in the team, how many incident reliability and things like that. So these are very important to measure and specific for software engineering teams. And the second type of metrics that I mentioned earlier, which we are going to dive a little bit deeper into, is the qualitative metric. So the team is very productive, they are busy with stuff, they deliver consistently, they have really good story point. But do they actually add value? How do we find out? So qualitative metrics usually can be measured by speaking to people. People can be customer or other employee or other stakeholder in the team. And I've used things like Net Promoter Score, so NPS, to get the sentiment of the customer on what has been delivered. So there is a good measure for a software engineering team because they can be busy with many things, but are these things actually translating to business value? And that is the important thing to measure. And I also encourage my engineering manager to get feedback about their software engineers on the ground on how they work and what are the behaviors that they have been establishing. And I think this is important because high performer will quickly leave the team when they find there's a low performer who is not being held accountable, or there's a sub quality that is being accepted by their manager. So it's also important to measure this. And at the end of the day, I believe that having all this data and measurement is good, but the best thing comes from really acting on them. So self-reflection, reflecting on what has been measured, whether there's things that need to be improved, is the key to creating a high-performing team.